I know you're gonna be getting tired of seeing my firewall. Well, here's the work that got done today. Or I say today, last couple of days. Got my power bulkheads pulled in. And you might be asking why I have a ground and a positive. I got this tip from watching Devin Vonder, however the hell you say his last name. I can never remember it. But anyways, he suggests running an actual battery cable ground up front to ground your engine block and your starter and not rely on your chassis. And I've also heard this from other people that recommend the same thing, not to trust your chassis ground on a unibody car. On a solid frame car or a tubular frame car, it's not as big a deal. But on a unibody, I guess there's a lot of resistance in it from all the spot welds and whatnot, from what joins the frame together to the rest of the body. So just overall, it's simple. It wasn't that much more money to buy another battery cable. I have two. So here is my Deutsch connector bulkhead mounted up, gas pedal mounted up, and like I said, button head stainless steel bolts for everything. You can see I don't have the AC mounted up yet. I'll show you that in a sec and explain why I don't have it yet. Steering column mounted back up, painted black, bought a seal, and if you can see, the seal ripped when I put my column through. Probably should have lubed it up, but it did not pass through it smoothly. Either that or I should have slid the seal onto the column before mounting it up and not tried to feed the column through it after it was mounted. One of the two. Regardless, it tore. I'm not gonna wait on another one to show up. I'm just gonna roll it like this. Later on, I'll buy another one and replace it later on. This column is kind of a pain to swap around like that, or to pull in and out, and I wanted to go ahead and get this thing put back in. So, column, like I said, brushed on this top section, epoxy black on the lower section. My Willwood pedal assembly you see, and there is my clamp set up for my column. This is an ididit column, by the way. I think this billet clamp for the column is from Mustangs to Fear, I think. I'm not positive, don't quote me on it, but I think that's the case. Now, these pedals, I have a feeling this gas pedal is not going to stick up but about there. If I ever want to even think about being able to heel toe, pretty sure I'm going to have to drop these pedals back. So the downside is, pretty sure, actually I don't want to pump that because I have air in the lines. I'm pretty sure that I almost get full pedal swing at the current push rod length. I have a little bit of slack back here. So right now the push rod's threaded into these as far as they can go. I would have to cut the rod down to be able to drop the pedal height further in. I kind of wish these Willwood pedals had an adjustment on the pedal assembly itself to allow you to adjust the height of these, but push rod length is the only way you're doing it. And I'm probably gonna have to rotate this clamp further if I do it, because as you can see, it's quite close to hitting it as it is. I'll lose travel out of it because of that type of clamp. There's another company that makes a billet lower that actually seals this up too. It has like a ball joint type thing that the column slips through. And I really wish I would have gone that route, but I'd already bought this clamp, so I went with it. There's the inside of the bulkhead, what they look like. They just use that ring nut like what an electrical box punch out would use. Anyways, on other more interesting things. So the AC setup, or the AC line I'm going with, I still have to make. I think I'm gonna go to Advanced Auto and buy the clamps, because these are the types of fittings. These are easy clip, easy crimp, something like that. Yeah, easy clip. There you go. Just search easy clip, should bring them up. Vintage sells them, Summit sells them. You can get them direct. I think Eaton makes them. That is what they look like. I'll grab this clip. They're like that. They have a barb fitting with O-rings. And they have this cage retainer, that right there, that slips over the hose and hooks around the clamp. And you pop these two crimp clamps around where the O-rings go. And with this cage, it locks the fitting to the hose. The only pliers I have to be able to do those with are these right here. And they're technically like cutters. So I'd rather not use them. So Advance Auto sells them for 10 bucks for the actual ones, because the actual ones have a flat that comes down over the top of this. As you clamp it down to prevent it from bowing it up. Actually, after looking at these actually aren't the type of clamps I thought they were. These are actually just hooked clamps. Thought these were the eared ones. So what I have actually might work. Anyways, I have to make these still for my AC box, for my actual AC lines. I use this hose, which is just nylon braid rubber hose from Summit. It's actually pretty nice stuff. The only thing I don't like about it is it did not want to fit over the heater valve. Because of the braid, it didn't want to flare out the rubber hose because the braid contained it. But from what I've heard, it will actually work decent on these, but I don't know. I don't think it was. It's not meant to just push lock. You could probably use these push lock ends with a clamp, but you can't just use push lock. Anyways, here's the heater line setup. So I used those little AN inserts for these to turn these O-ring style ones into an AN fitting. These are 10 AN, I think, -10. And I just looped it. Got a 180 here and a straight one here. Loops around. It comes in this water valve. This water valve I had to modify, bracket again, because it was actually interfering on the dash. So all this is just a little piece of aluminum I have bolted to it, drilled holes, put in the vise, hammered it around. You can tell by how marred up it is, how many times I've had to adjust it. Bent it over, and then I also kicked it over this way, so these lines would be somewhat straight with the box. Excuse the shitty camera work. Anyways, so there's that. But yeah, you can tell these did not want to go on these barbs. And I used these clamps. I was going to use those ear clamps that I bought, but I decided I preferred these that came with this because they were wider. The actual clamp piece is wider. So I'd probably end up putting 2 of those eared ones on there just to be safe. And these, if they happen to leak, I can try to tighten them up before scrapping the whole thing. And those clamps that are ear type that crimp on, I'd have to cut off to replace to do anything with. And then just 90s on this end, and these are swivel 90s. So these will be the ones that go into the bulkhead. And the bulkhead is also put in. And it's just got caps on the heaters right now. Whenever I do the ACs, I'll take the AC caps off of that and move to here. That's it. That's what got done today. So tomorrow I'll do the AC lines, hopefully mount this under the dash. And don't know past that. It's getting close to time to drop motor in. I need to do my battery cable still. I'm really doubting 2 gauge is gonna fit through this channel, especially not 2 of them. So I'm kind of contemplating running the cables under the car and bolting them, strapping them underneath somewhere, either running them along the fuel line or parallel with it. And then I'll still put them on the bulkhead, but it'll be on the outside of the car. So they'll still join for the front, for my starter and stuff, and it'll give me a grounding point and a positive 12 in the car if I need it for anything up there. Which I might end up putting, I plan to put a center console in the car at one point. I will probably run a small, like a 8 gauge off that stud to another fuse block, like a universal one inside of the center console, because I will have power windows, power locks eventually, a security system, and is also I plan to do heated seats. TMI has yet to answer back ever saying if there's possible. I've seen some people put heated pads in TMI seats. I just don't know if you have to get anything special or have them make the material out of anything special. So I'm pretty sure most of their seats are like a vinyl, and I don't know if that holds up to the heat. So I don't know if the cushions have to be a heat resistant. I don't know if the fabric needs to be something special, but they make show cars all the time that use those seats, and I'm sure some of those have heated seats in them. So one way or the other, I'm making it happen. So that'll be another thing that'll go to that fuse block. Anyways, thanks for watching, guys. I'll give another update whenever I have something good to update with. Later.